So 2023 saw the biggest increase in the immigration policies within the UK, with nearly 1 million people moving to the UK and choosing to stay in the UK after their studies or for work reasons. And that was one of the reasons why the UK government, that is the party before this, the Conservative government, decided to put in some really serious plans in place in order to cut legal migration into the UK. In today's video, I will be sharing what the gov.uk has published very recently, just earlier this month, where it compares the data of what is happening in terms of immigration right now as compared to the year ago. It is mind-blowing to see that the number of people coming to the UK have actually reduced. Now, there have been several ongoing sort of comments and points of views of people saying that obviously the UK is not lucrative anymore. It is not advisable to go to the UK. There are just too many problems, including longer waiting times in the NHS, including maybe not landing a job after your student visa, and obviously the ongoing riots. But despite all of that, there are many of y'all out there who are planning to come into the UK, and in today's video, I will be sharing some important facts about coming to the UK. So if you are moving to the UK in 2024 or in 2025, then this video is for you. But before we move ahead, let me introduce myself. My name is Nagita and I make videos about landing your HCPC registration, landing interviews as a healthcare professional, and coming to work in the UK as a healthcare professional, or if you are a student. And if any of this is of interest to you, do not forget to drop me a subscribe on YouTube, but also follow me on Instagram. My handle is Physiotherapy in UK. And if you have any questions, do not forget to check out the N number of free videos on YouTube on my channel. But also, if you need further guidance, feel free to book a one-to-one session with me. So let's get into the number game first. So as you can see on your screens right there, this is the monthly official report by the Home Office, which was put out on the 8th of August. And you can see the next update is going to happen on the 12th of September. Now, what is super important in this report is that, as you know, on the 4th of December 2023, the Home Office announced changes to the immigration rules and established these changes on the 21st of December. Now, this was the 5-point immigration plan that was issued by the Conservative government, which had some serious measures in it. The first one was obviously reducing the dependents that healthcare workers could get with them, reducing the number of dependents that students could get with them, increasing salary thresholds, and so on and so forth. But what is important to see that these changes came into effect on the 19th of February and went all the way up to the 14th of March. And policy changes are one of the range of factors that could impact visa applications. The statistics that are released in this report are provisional, and finalized numbers will be published in the quarterly Home Office Immigration System Statistics release, which again, I'll leave the link for in the description below. So if you're interested in it, feel free to go and check that out. But as you can see on your screens right there, this is a graph of the work visa. And as you can see, they've split it up in terms of health and care visa, health and care worker visa dependents, skilled worker visa, main applicants, and skilled worker visa dependents. And as you can see right there, the number of main applicants increased from nearly 4,100 to about 18,300 between Feb 2022 to August 2023, and this is just for the health and care worker visa applications alone. If you see it in the recent times, there has been a considerable drop. So as you can see, from August 2023, it fell down to nearly 2,900 in July 2024. So that means that there were only 10,800 applications made between April and July 2024 following the policy changes that came into effect from the social care workers and their family members. And that is nearly an 81% decrease compared to the same time 4 months ago in 2023. Now, this is super important because, like I said, this has showed that all of the policy changes have meant that there are lesser people coming to the UK. Another important factor to consider over there is that, as you can see, once there were new salary thresholds issued in April 2024, there has also been a significant drop in the number of skilled worker visas, which is again something we all expected because the salary thresholds have now gone up to 38,700. And if you are in the UK, or if you know anyone who's working in the UK, you would know that average salaries are always below that number. So you would have to be at a really good position in order to get a salary that high. Another important factor to consider, and I'll again pull up the screen right here, is that there were nearly 22,200 applications for the health and care worker route in April 20 2024 and July 2024, so sort of between that period. And what is important to see is that this is nearly a 71% decrease as compared to the past 4 months in 2023. Only surprising thing I would say in the graph that is shown right now is the fact that the number of dependents have actually gone up. So if you actually go on to see the skilled worker dependents and the health and care worker dependents, you will see that that number has sort of steadily stayed the same between May to July, which means that the number of dependents accompanying the main applicant have sort of stayed nearly or roughly the same as compared to, the past year for skilled worker visa. Now that we've covered work visa, let's talk about what's happening to students. So in terms of students, I'm again going to pull up a screen right here. And as you can see, there's always that sort of increase in terms of people applying for visas between April to June or July. And that sort of drops down considerably in October. But as you can see this year, that sort of high is not anywhere close to what we've seen in the past years. Now, again, the reason for this could be the fact that over the last year, they made changes, including the fact that many students could not get their dependents along with them, which was fair because the UK government was trying to curb legal and illegal immigration. However, what this has done is that it has pushed students to now choose not to study in the UK and look at other countries which might be lucrative, such as, Canada, Australia, New Zealand, or maybe even US. And this was again completely fair for all of the students. And again, if you are a student, do let me know where you are from and what country you're choosing to study from in the comments below to help us all get a bit more understanding about the situation. So now that we've covered the actual figures in terms of what is happening in the immigration policy and how is it impacting people coming to the UK, let's talk about what are the potential changes for the UK. So firstly, obviously the fact that many people are not choosing to come to the UK has an economical impact. Now this is again twofold. The first reason is because when international students were coming to study in the UK, a lot of universities have actually gone ahead and said that they received a lot of their funding and a lot of income through these international students because international students are usually paying higher tuition fees as compared to some of the students from the UK itself. The second factor on how these numbers or these drop in numbers are impacting economy within the UK is the fact that there is a reduction in the IHS fees. Now, if any of y'all have applied for your student visa or your work visa or in the process of looking at it, you would know that the UK had increased its IHS fees nearly up to 1,200 or 1,300 over the last year for a year alone. So that means as a student or as somebody coming on the skilled worker visa, you would need to pay the IHS fees. Now, these IHS fees go a long way in obviously providing some economic stability to the UK because the number of people applying for these visas had obviously grown. Now, as these numbers have dropped, that income is also not coming into the UK. Now, what is important to understand is that UK wanted to reduce net migration and the legal net migration, which is the sort of study visas, work visas, etc. But I don't think they planned for this super drop in immigration generally. Another factor that I think a lot of people generally within my field were talking about is that UK was planning to reduce the net immigration of healthcare professionals. And they were doing this by trying to get the people in the UK to upskill themselves to, either be doctors or surgeons or etc. And what was really important is that as this plan has now gone into reducing the number of people coming to the UK, potentially UK might realize that it's really not reasonable enough in order to get the source. So for example, it takes about 10 years or maybe 5 years to train a healthcare professional to get them up to speed, to get a degree within medicine or any other healthcare stream. And right now, in order for UK to upskill all of the people living in the UK, it will take a couple of years. But this drop just means that there are lesser number of healthcare professionals or people from specialized streams such as engineering applying into the UK. And that just means that there are so many more vacancies that are going unfilled. And that is going to lead to a massive way in which the economy is affected or in the way that NHS services are provided to people within the UK. Now, why am I sharing this and how does this impact you? So, first things first, there are going to be a lot of unfilled vacancies at the minute, and that is simply because there are going to be lesser number of health and care worker visas that are being applied, just as I showed you in the video previously. Now, what does this mean for you? This just means that as a report that was released last year said that there were nearly 10,000 vacancies that were still present in the NHS in the UK. And I don't think that number has gone down significantly. We're still waiting for the reports for this year to be published. But just from the general outlook, it stands that the vacancies still do exist. There was a teeny drop because obviously there was a change in the government, the financial situation has changed, so there were lesser number of vacancies out there. And there was increased competition because, like I've released in one of my videos previously, there were so many of y'all making HCPC applications that the HCPC applications have gone quite high. So there is a lot of increased competition for the jobs that are currently existing in the UK. But if you are somebody who's planning to come to the UK, this might be the right time because lesser number of people are applying for jobs within the UK. And B, it just means that even though there is higher competition, there aren't people in the UK who are obviously meeting the requirements for that job role, whether that's having a degree or having the HCPC registration. And it might be that eventually at some point, these people within the UK might obviously get those skills, get the degree, get those jobs. But right now, you are the guys who will be able to sort of fill these roles, and this is why now is the best time for you to apply to the UK. If you are somebody who is considering to apply to the UK but have faced rejection or are not landing interviews, feel free to book a one-to-one session with me where I can go through your application, give you guidance, and talk about how I can support you further. But that being said, coming to the UK is not at all cheap, and I don't want to paint a rosy picture. It has taken me years to sort of stabilize myself, understand how it is to work in the UK, understand how to start building up savings. And if you are coming with a mindset that, it means that you're going to save a lot of money, you're going to sort of grow really well in the UK, do consider all of that again. I am going to link down a couple of videos that highlight the total costs of living in the UK, the total sort of money that you need to have within your bank account before you even move to the UK, and what is it to be actually living in the UK right now. And if any of this is of interest to you, do feel free to check out those videos, but let me know if you have any questions in the comments below. And when you decide to move to the UK, make sure you're moving with the right mindset. It is not going to be easy. It is not going to be a smooth way for you. But if you are ready for the challenge and if this is what you want, then you've got to make it work for yourself. Take care, guys. Bye.